Hello and welcome to another video or YouTube video based around the shifts that have happened for September. I'm your host, Typhoon Carter, and today this one's a bit more of an interesting one because I actually have guests with me this time on my channel from over from Pia. I have Starbitstorm, the current UU ladder champion.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, and then I have Melt Gibson, who is a key contributor in the UU community, and I believe you're also on the VR team. Is that correct?
No, that's Mossy, but...
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, regardless. Hello. Yeah, so let's just move right along with shifts. So, UU had a couple important shifts that happened this month. For starters, we had 3 important drops that had just shown up. We have Hoopa Unbound, Roaring Moon, and Ursaluna. With that being said though, at the time we were recording this, Roaring Moon had just been banned from Underuse, which we will talk a bit more about in a short bit. And we also have Torkoal, who moved up from RU all the way to OU, although Sun was not exactly in a great spot.
Yeah, I was astonished to see that happen.
Yeah, no, it was a bit of a shock, but I think part of that had to do with the ongoing OLT, which is Smogon's official ladder tournament for OU, where Sun was actually spammed a fair bit on the OU ladder, so Torkoal ended up kind of moving up, and because it was a very popular team that was used a lot.
Yeah, wasn't it like Sandy Shock's HO or something like that?
Yeah, there were a couple variations. Yeah, there was like the Sandy Shocks one. I think there was also one that used like Brute Bonnet, strangely enough.
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it's a bit out there, but it's certainly not been... It certainly has been tried before, even in UU. Like, I remember there was a game where Star Master actually used a Brute Bonnet Sun team, but this was like way back in pre-home OU. Or, not OU, but UU. Yeah, and then the other thing to note is that Gyarados, Alomomola, Chestnut, Tyranitar all rose up from RU to UU. Although I don't know if the Tyranitar one is just out of pure copium.
I think that might be, because like I haven't seen a single T-Tar like on the ladder.
I have not either. And then Alomomola, Chestnut, those kind of make a little bit more sense. A little bit,
Yeah.
although Gyarados is a bit of an odd one, because I know I haven't not seen a lot of that either.
Yeah, I've seen some. I think, yeah, definitely the Alamola and Chestnut have been prominent on a lot of the stall teams that have been rising.
Yeah.
A lot of stall teams have been using that just because it's a very strong core for shutting down things. So, yeah. Gyarados is also somewhat good. I think I've seen a bit of it on the ladder just from some of the HO players. Like, as of the loss of Roaring Moon, a lot of people are just kind of slapping Gyarados back on their teams over the Roaring Moon.
Okay,
So-
that's interesting. Then, because
I think a lot of people are also slapping Gyarados on because it like kind of works as an Ursaluna check.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, right. The pseudo Ursaluna check, right. And then the other ones, Braviary Hisui and Overqwil dropped from UU down to RU, although Braviary Hisui was not very surprising, it kind of wore out his welcome very quickly. Overqwil is a bit more... It was always like, it was okay, but like it was always kind of like in an awkward spot, so there was that.
Yeah, true.
Okay. Yeah, and then I'm just going to quickly move over to the actual announcement as to where Roaring Moon got banned. Okay, yeah, so here a bit... Okay, yeah, it's a bit in the middle of the tab, but yeah, basically, it was agreed that all 3 of the drops were going to be voted on. All the reasonings are in these little mini boxes by each of the council members that did vote on it. Here's the actual voting slate, as you can see, like what each council member voted for. Haryana Grande, IP, and TSR all sat out this one, but Roaring Moon basically was almost near unanimous, more or less. While Hoopa Unbound and Ursaluna were voted as a do not ban.
Yeah, it was interesting to see this, and the reasonings behind it were also really interesting because they are like pretty difficult to like hard counter, right? To hard counter Ursaluna, right? I can't even think of a mon. The closest one is Earthworm, and they made like a very fair point that even Earthworm dies to like Drain Punch, Terra fighting. So it's like it's not a matter of, I guess, whether you can hard counter these mons, but I guess it's as they say, being able to offensively check them, because Ursaluna may not be able to get hard counter, but it's slow as everything else, right? It's so slow.
It is.
Yeah, I think the thing with Ursaluna is that like they do make the point of its longevity being a problem because you're slow, so you take the hits, and then you have the damage from burn if you're running Flame Orb, which you probably are for Guts, and then there's all that. But like, it still does really often manage to force those 2-for-1, sometimes 3-for-1 trades. Like, I feel like regardless of that, you really have to hone in on the fact that this thing gets one kill on a bad day.
Yeah, more or less, and I don't know how much of this was a result of like Roaring Moon kind of just overshadowing the other two drops, because that's what I'm more curious about, because like I think when I tried to play like the ladder of like Roaring Moon around, it was like everybody was kind of zeroed in on like Roaring Moon just kind of goobing everything, which is partly why it got banned, which it should have. Yeah, because like Ursaluna and Hoopa Unbound kind of, I guess you could say, slipped under the radar in a way, which maybe it's not like the best word to describe it, but I think that's like one way to put it, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
potentially. Yeah, I think that I'm really interested to see whether or not their power is demonstrated further in some of these tours coming up.
Yeah, and then Hoopa Unbound was an interesting drop because like it is actually pretty viable in OU, so it was kind of surprising to see it come down here in the first place. But yeah, because the thing with Hoopa Unbound is like even like you could run just about any like offensive set you want with this thing. Hell, you could even run bulk on this thing if you wanted to, because like its offense is uninvested or like just that high.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing, is like compared to the other two, I feel like people were a lot more upset about things like Roaring Moon and Ursaluna because they have like, with slight variations, they have like one set. And the thing about Hoopa is that part of what makes it so good is the variety and like the amount of things you can do with it, and things like that are never really like immediately broken, I feel.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, because like Hoopa could do, like you do mix, you do eject pack, physical, special, like you name it, man. Hell, it even has knockoff too, which is like,
oh yeah,
no, like it's got a crazy move pool. Like because like even playing with its other counterpart, like before Hoopa Unbound drop, it was like you could tell that this thing was like no joke, like offensively speaking. Although like the Dark Psychic type means that you're gonna have problems against like U-turners, because even a stray U-turn from something like Torn T would just like kind of kill you.
It actually does after rocks. Twilight was in the UU room earlier today, and like we were just talking about whatever, and then I think it was Malte, I'm not sure, but he's like, oh yeah, like I load up into Team Preview and I see Torn T, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna take 80 from U-turn, and it turns out that actually does kill after rocks.
Actually, no, I'm pretty sure I've seen like a Hoopa Unbound die from full, like from a stray U-turn. So yeah, no, that's like a fundamental problem that it's always gonna have to contend with. And like, yeah, sure, you can Terra it to like kind of offset it, but like that also kind of have its own problems too, because like yeah. But I think it is like worth the Terra, but Yeah, I think that's something that's gonna probably take a while for people to really fully maximize, because like I think Hoopa and Bound's like not exactly the easiest. It's not one of those mons where you can kind of just slap it on with whatever and call it a day. Yeah, I think there's like a bit more nuance to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving along, here's the current VR, just for the people that are watching this who are curious. So obviously Roaring Moon probably crossed off, but I don't. Okay, yeah. So the last time this VR was updated was mid-August, so this was we're looking at about 2.5 weeks ago. And for the most part, yeah. So you could tell that Ursaluna, Hoopa, and Bound, it's like they can do stuff against like some of these like top mons for sure, but it's definitely far from like super splashable, although like Ursaluna is obviously gonna be slapping somebody up.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. The true thing, actually, a little bit more about Ursaluna's speed is that there are people who are running Trailblaze sets now, right?
Oh,
It
yeah.
only takes 2 Trailblazers to outspeed stuff like Tornadus. So even though you're getting chipped by like, the burn all the while, you can't safely go into a mon that you think counters it or whatever, unless you think you can kill. Otherwise, they'll just 2-tap you with Trailblaze potentially, and then outspeed like your Torn in an endgame, which is nasty.
And
of course,
also, people are running like screens hyper offense bullshit with it too, and
true,
like,
yeah.
ugh.
Yeah, Screens Ursaluna is absolutely disgusting.
I've heard
this,
people were using Tauros, like the Tauros Paldean forms, to try and combat it. Like that's what I
Wait, like for like Raging Bull just to
Yeah.
get rid of the screens?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know if that's hard copium or if that's like more legitimate, considering this is what, September 4th right now. So like it's only been a couple days.
Yeah.
I think it's legitimate, just because like it not only does it beat like that screens, but it also beats the rise of low kicks. Right? There's been so many people using low kicks now, more than I think
low
ever
kicks
in
has
the
been
business.
big because
Too.
of like all the dark spam and stuff that's kind of been running rampant, especially with like Hoopa's presence now. Like, you gotta remember, like Hoopa is one of those mons where it's like it's got like what 160, 170 offenses, so it's like yeah, good luck switching into that, brother.
Yeah.
It's actually really useful for a lot of things now too, because Talonflame is kind of on the way out. You can hit things like Skeledirge with Throat Chop, which really cripples it because it can't use Torch Song after that.
Yeah.
No Bulk Torn T, I believe, also just straight up drops to first impression.
Yeah. Or no, that might be CB, like for Torn T. I'm not sure. It might be, you might need CB to like do it from full, but like after a little bit of chip, it's like if you're running something like Silver Powder, then like with like Terra Bug, then you might be then we might be getting somewhere. But yeah, I think a mon that really kind of suffers from these drops is definitely Hisui and Gudra, who's very much hurt by the presences of Ursaluna especially, and I want to say also Hoopa and Bound to an extent, like maybe like physical Hoopa or even mixed Hoopa running Drain Punch, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I feel like Hisui and Gudra is one of those things where it's gonna be okay until the point that we get like actual offensive grounds.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then like, cause like I think it's in an interesting predicament because I think like some people might run Ursaluna with like some speed investment to outspeed specific defensive threats. Although I know I've used like some Gudra sets in the past that would say outspeed Skeletor, so you might have kind of a weird situation with that too. And then obviously, yeah, like these two drops, like as it is right now, is definitely gonna shake things up. I don't know if a suspect is gonna happen anytime soon, which I kind of doubt is gonna happen due to the fact that Pokemon Home, not Home, but the first DLC is gonna release in about a week and a half at the time we're recording this. Right, and actually speaking of that, I'm just gonna pull this up real quick because there was a tweet that was released not that long ago that kind of gave us some of the that showed the distributions, or like not really distributions, but more like TMs per se that were released or are gonna be released. Some of these include Toxic, Lash Out, Poltergeist, not Poltergeist. Yeah, that one always gets me. So there's that, which is definitely going to have an impact on this tier, because I'm trying to think, is there any mons currently on this VR that are they following like Sword
I don't
and
think
Shield?
there's anything here that would benefit from Poltergeist,
Or
but
even
like
Toxic, like even something like Toxic's the big one.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
I think Poltergeist,
like
is-
some fat shit if the distribution is like the same as it used to be.
I've been told they're following the Sword and Shield distribution for Toxics.
Okay.
No. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Okay. That's gonna go back to a lot more focus on the early stat. I think the early status spread meta might be kind of similar, where it's like so many people are running Toxic. Now that it's a little bit more accessible,
Yeah.
at least Toxic status spread teams.
Yeah. So there's that, and Rillaboom is getting Grassy Glide back, although that thing has been nerfed to 60 base power.
Yeah, that's a
huge power cut. Isn't a lot though.
I mean, it's still, I don't know, we might probably lose that to OU. Maybe. I don't
At least
know.
for a month. Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
probably,
I
but,
would-
I
think it's. I don't know. I think otherwise. I think that Grassy Glide being nerfed as low as it was has significantly made it worse. Right? Not only was it I mean, it's a decent priority move now. Still, that
wait, does
Rillaboom
Breloom
had-
get it? Or I don't know if Breloom is gonna be able to learn Grassy Glide, because I think it means it will be Technician boosted, which will be kind of funny.
That's true.
Wait,
That's
but
true.
would if it was in grassy terrain, right?
Yeah.
Does the boost from terrain apply before or after Technician?
Oh shoot, yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that. I might have to, I'll leave that up to the research mechanics guys who do that stuff.
Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up and see how the math works.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Lash Out means that something like Weavile and Bisharp gets a marginally better Dark Stab move.
Yeah. True. Do you know if the Basket Legion are able to get Poltergeist or no?
That I'm not sure. I'll probably have to. We'll probably find out more as we get closer to DLC, because like someone always leaks that stuff. And there was also
Sure.
like a 4chan leak earlier that was kind of suspect. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
That's it. Yeah, I think if obviously if any of those get mainly the male, right? If the male gets it, then it will finally have a ghost stab.
Yeah,
that
that
it can
isn't
actually
terrible
use,
as
right?
goes.
Yeah. That would in itself make manual rain, and I know this is like a little bit of but manual rain would become so much stronger.
I think RU's enjoying manual rain a bit more, because like they lost Tyranitar and Torkoal, but we're mainly here to talk about UU, although RU is fun. Maybe I'll do that some other time. Right. So that aside, while Melt is probably trying to sort out like the interaction.
Yeah, I did the math. It does. Technician boost does come in before the terrain boost.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's actually crazy. But yeah, that so now that we've like gotten that out of the way, I guess we could talk about UU World Cup finals, which concluded not too long ago. Yeah, so first of all, congratulations to Rest of World, or ROW, or ROW, however you want to say it, for winning it and not even needing to go to tiebreak to take care of things, as you can tell by the screen here. Was there any particular games you guys want to go back, recap on?
I mean,
I think-
honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, I think the only one that I know I always do this is with Udon Girls games.
Okay.
once again, Udon Girl went back and brought their specs hydrate team, or like how Udon Girl normally has like a specs team. That was pretty much it.
Yes, the Udon Girl Theorem where she pulls up with specs, right? I'm gonna go find that game, and I'm going to ignore all these predictions for the minute right now. Okay, so here's the game, and yeah, I look at preview, and my first guess is it's Specs Hydreigon.
Yeah. It's I'm pretty sure it's
here, right? I want to say, for context, I have. This is my first time seeing this game.
Yeah. Okay. And then so obviously you got the Hydreigon coming in, ready to just goop something. Okay, wow, that's a lot of damage. I assume that's fully Spadef Slowking.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, considering.
Yeah, I'm
blown
just
back.
Play this a little faster, but yeah, very.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously the Zoro. Oh, and then I think. And then yeah, knockoff. Okay, yeah, it's like a pretty chill game up to this point.
Zoroark?
Yeah, this Spikes giveaway. And then Shell Ball D. Yeah, big chip as people would say.
Incredulously so.
Yeah, and then
I think turn
yeah, no, this is my first time seeing this game as well.
And then the scissor just dies this turn. It just dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
Power of Hydrate, I guess, with the specs, which absolutely destroys one of the threats that they had in terms of
is that spec? Did BFM have Specs Hydreigon as well?
I think this might be double specs.
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously, if that's the case, right? It's a battle of Hydrates, but one of the sides has a fairy type, the other one doesn't. So this is really where these kind of shows.
Yeah.
With
no, I consider Slowking to be a fake fairy.
It can be, I guess. That's true. Can't be.
Yeah, and then so I guess that's the real Slowking.
Yeah. It just kind of comes slowly towards an end.
Yeah, and then you see Udon Girl just slowly making a lot of progress with Hydreigon, even with all the sand chip, and then she sacks her Iron Treads, anticipates the Draco Meteor, which is a very good read on her end. And then finally we see, oh wow, wait, that must be special? Is that special attack invested Dirge?
It has to be just one tap without any boost, right?
Yeah. It's the Udon Girl special once again.
Yeah. I don't even know. Yeah, I think that's just heavily invested special, or some special attack investment. I don't know. If she is watching the post recording of this, maybe she can tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at this point,
look at this team,
yeah.
The more I look at this team, the more I'm confused about the Zoroark, because
it doesn't illusion too well.
Yeah, I was to say you have Hippo with the sand, and then you have Regenerator Slowking, and then Levitate on Hydreigon. So if the spikes come in, that's a dead giveaway.
Yeah, no, I feel like if BFM was gonna use Illusion Zoroark with anything, it'd be something like Breloom, for example, or Breloom plus Treads. And then then at this point the game's have a done deal. Oh, very, very good discipline, but to not get baited by that and not just click Brave Bird right away. Yeah, and then at this point the game's basically a done deal, because since this is most likely choice locked based on the way BFM is just clicking here. And yeah, that game was a wrap. Very nicely played by Udon Girl. Very, very cool team and very cool game all around.
Yeah. Once again, Udon Girl providing another solid special attacker special. I'm wondering if somebody's
the Udon Girl Theorem, as I'd like to call it, which means that I will probably expect a Specs Hoopa by the end of this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That aside, let us move on to another UU tournament that is gonna happen fairly soon. UU Home Field Advantage. So the premise of home field advantage tournaments on Smogon, for those who don't know, is effectively it's a BO free tournament. It's kind of like classic. It's kind of like, or like classic playoffs in a way, where you basically have like kind of like you're playing multiple generations. That's the main premise, obviously. And then usually with home field advantages, at least with other tiers, the first game is usually locked into like whatever the current gen is. So in this case, it would be Scarlet and Violet. And then people who sign up, for example here, Lily here, our tier leader, in and chose BW Underuse as her home tier. So that means that at all sets against her will involve, say, whatever. Let's say I was playing against Lily, for example. It would basically be SB, UU, whatever tier I chose, and also whatever tier Lily chooses, for example, right? So that's the basic premise, more or less. Is there anything else you guys want to add to this?
I mean,
not really. Unless we wanted to like look and see if there's any tier choices we think are surprising.
I mean,
okay. I was astonished they had RDY in it. I was astonished they had RDY. I know that obviously it has like all gens, but I thought it would be similar to, you know, the BFM tour, where it stops at like a specific gen, but like RDY is like wild. I know they've apparently they made the metagame a little bit more tolerable with the ban of Hypno.
Yeah, they banned Hypno. Did they touch Lapras as well? I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, they touched Lapras as well. So
yeah, I do remember this. Yeah, so obviously there's that going on, and then the other one that I should probably bring up that's ongoing right now is the UU Blitz tour. Oh, hey, nice one, Melt.
Oh, nice.
Right, and then finally we also have UU Blitz, which is ongoing right now. For those of you who don't know, it is a tournament that is basically you're playing. Basically, imagine like you're playing Blitz in like chess. It's like the same concept, more or less. So you're playing on pretty short timer, more or less, because usually in most tournament games you will have at least a 5-minute timer to start normally. But in Blitz, it's you have 30 seconds at team preview and 10 seconds per turn, which is like an interesting spin on like how Mons is usually played. So there's that, although it'd be much more closer to like a VGC timer, although a little bit more extreme, if that makes sense. Yeah, and then, man, okay, yeah, so here is the bracket, and then here's the current bracket. So since it's a Swiss tour, basically, you have people who are basically in like 1-0, 0-1, or 2-0, or 1-1, 0-1, etc. I don't remember how many weeks the Blitz tour goes on, like how many Swiss rounds are there?
I think it was like depending on the number of signups, but I think it was either going to be 4 or 5.
Okay, so yeah, so right now, yeah, so round 2 just got posted today, and then, you know, so that's what's going on right now. I assume it's like okay, so it's probably like around the same length as like PU Swiss, which was around 6 rounds from what I remember, for example. So because I assume it just goes on until there's like one undefeated person left.
I think so, because this is, I don't think it goes into bracket.
Yeah, there's no top cut or whatever. So there's that right now. And just to wrap things up, or actually, before we start to wrap things up, was there anything else you guys want to talk about specifically, or no?
I think that's...
Unless...
No, I don't know. I don't think there's like any big like meta shifts or anything like that. I think it was French.
Yeah. Okay, so we're back at the VR page, and I'm just gonna ask both of you right now, do you think either Ursaluna or Hoopa Unbound will probably get suspected either this month or even like just down the line, that kind of thing? Like realistically.
I think an Ursaluna suspect is possible, if not like just like the way the first Iron Hand suspect was, because like the community is so upset about it. They're like, all right, we'll give you a test.
Right.
But
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure because there were no ban votes. So
Yeah, like
We'll
there were. Yeah, but like I said, because I think I talked about this earlier, I'm not sure how much of that was a factor of like just Roaring Moon overshadowing everybody with its fucking DD set with like booster energy, and then like being able to just pack taunt or like whatever right move it had, that kind of thing. Yeah, because like
Yeah.
and like
Well, it's kind
yeah, I know you talked about it a little bit on the forums. Maybe it wasn't you specifically, but like I know a couple people talked about like how Ursaluna's best set was something like a Guts, or not like Guts lefty, so like you're not running a Flame Orb, that kind of thing, and instead using Guts
Yeah.
as more like a deterrent. Which
yeah,
I
the
think,
opportunity cost is very low.
Yeah.
Because no one's going like Willow when the Ursaluna's there, because you're not going to give it the free guts. So
Yeah.
it's just
yeah, or you might click Toxic, but that assumes you have a plan to be able to Toxic stall it out. Which might be a tall task for some teams to do.
yeah, because like even defensively, like checking it just kind of consists of throwing things at it until it either like finally dies to chip damage, or you manage to give it like a solid hit, and that's not really an option for passive teams.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. Like, cause like I think most passive teams, they're relying on. Actually, I don't even know if passive teams really have a real shot at really working like currently with like Hoopa Unbound and Ursaluna in the builder. Because like I think like if you're making Stalty, it's like you better have a way to foolproof yourself against Hoopa Unbound and Ursa specifically.
Yeah.
Whereas
that's
even
valid.
something like Hariyama which was like probably the tier's most notable Guts user at one point. Even that was like even that had its significant flaws against like bulky teams. So yeah, so there's that.
Yeah.
And then I guess and since like this recording has not taken that long, yeah, it's taken half an hour at most. Before we wrap things up, do you guys want to like kind of take your personal guesses on where you're thinking Hoopa Unbound and Ursaluna are going to wind up on the VR?
Well, I think that definitely the Ursaluna and Hooper have a lot to be explored. They might end up.
Oh,
depending on
your mic exploded for a second.
Oh goodness, sorry.
Yeah, you can start. Yeah.
Okay. So regarding Ursaluna and Hoopa, I think they might end up on the S for the most part. It seems like they're a little bit more tolerable right now currently, but the amount of variability that they have is still pretty crazy, right? People always mention the guts aspect of Ursaluna, right? But it does have other abilities, right? Bulletproof is not bad. Bulletproof allows it to beat
it's a good bluff.
Breloom. Right, you could beat Breloom in the 1v1 by running like the rest set. A lot of the rest sets that Ursa Ring ran. Nothing stopping you from even just deciding I'm going to run Guts anyway and just running Terra Poison with rest. You still beat Breloom. You beat like a large portion of the meta. You still beat passive Stallmon, stuff like that. I think there's a lot of variability that is to be seen in Ursaluna and in Hoopa that we will definitely be seeing in some of the upcoming tours and stuff like that. So I think that they definitely, if not A+, then they'll end up somewhere near like S or something. Maybe banned. Who knows?
Maybe bad. Okay. So officially, you're saying like most likely at S. Like
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm thinking they definitely fall somewhere in the A ranks, probably, because like there's just a lot to explore. The power level is definitely there. Like, aside from, getting killed by any stray U-turn, Hoopa's got a lot of applications, and, it's not super hard to work your team around it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say both end up in that A+ range. Just realistically, because I think both are gonna be very central forces to a building in UU. So that's my 2 cents personally. And with that being said, it was a pleasure having you guys on. And
Yeah,
I am
great to be here.
And then I'm going to link the Discord invite to Pia, because this was a kind of a collaboration event on my end with Pia, and so that you guys can join. Basically, it's a server that's meant for UU newcomers to kind of get themselves settled in. And we also have a fair share of resources, that might be debatably better than the current UU forums, although I know they're gonna I know UU's gonna update their stuff fairly soon, but maybe it'll even be updated by the time this is uploaded. We will see, but yeah, both are great. I will see you guys next time.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.